Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to Construct Your Life. This is Austin Linney here, and I have the honor of having Mr. Tim Lyons here. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
You got it, my man. Before we get started, I just want to thank the sponsor for the podcast, dreamchasers.com. We really appreciate their support. And Tim, what I like to do with my guests is kind of let them start their story where they want to, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, awesome. Well, again, thank you for having me on your show. It's a pleasure to be here. So this is a great podcast. I like to listen to it because tons of great stories on it. So my story kind of goes like this, man. I'm a 38-year-old married father of 3 little girls, and I was living what I thought was an incredible life, still an incredible life, but you know, I get to work as a New York City firefighter, and I've been doing that 15+ years. And I've never worked a day in my life because when I get to go to the firehouse, I'm just excited. I have 24 hours to be with the guys and the girls too. And it's just fun, right? So been doing that for a while. And then, you know, like a lot of guys, we work 24-hour shifts and then we have a couple of days off. I worked on the side, and I put myself through nursing school while I was working full-time at the firehouse. And I became an ER nurse. And that's what I did for I was a nurse for about 8 years. Kids were little, worked, you know, standard 60, 70 hours a week, you know, overtime or, you know, hospital. And my wife was home with the kids and life was good. Bills were getting paid. There was some savings, you know, 2 vacations a year, maybe. It was, you know, 2 good cars in the driveway. But then my kids started getting a little bit older and noticing that I wasn't home a lot. And, you know, my wife too was like, man, I need some help at home. And, you know, you're always out. And by that time I was working even more, maybe 80, 90 hours a week. And, you know, something had to give. I just knew there had to be a better way. And I've always had my foot, you know, my fingers on the pulse of real estate and finance. And I've always been like a retail investor in ETFs and stocks. Of course, I have the 457 plan with the fire department and a 403B with the hospital. So I kind of always paid attention. But real estate to me was one of those things that I was going to do someday. Someday I'm going to get into real estate. Someday I'll do this and someday I'll do that. And I think a lot of us kind of fall into that trap sometimes of thinking that someday is going to come. And what I realized is that you have to just take action. And as scary as that seems sometimes, or as counterintuitive as that might feel, you know, educating yourself, asking a ton of questions, surrounding yourself with good people, good information. And you don't have to know 100% before you pull the trigger. You have to know enough to be dangerous. You have to know enough to, you know, be informed, but then taking action is honestly the biggest thing that has moved me forward over the last year or so. So with that being said, I have a firehouse bag that I have. It has, you know, extra clothes and some books and some papers and a calendar. And I had a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad that was stuffed on the bottom of that bag. And it came with me, I don't know, for about a year to the firehouse, and it never came out. You know, I always had the best intentions of reading it. But anyway, so I ended up going on vacation summer of 19 with my family down to the Outer Banks, North Carolina. And I bring the book with me and I bring it out and I can't put it down. Within 2 days, that book is read and I was on fire. And it was as if the curtain was lifted up and I saw the light. And I remember sitting on the beach and I turned to my wife and I told her, babe, I'm going to be a real estate investor. And she was, my wife knows my act by now. And she said, sure you are, Tim, you know, yeah, I'm sure you are. So she's been great. She's supported me the entire time. With that being said, I came back to real life after vacation. Immediately started looking at properties. And I started looking at duplexes, triplexes, and quads. I just didn't think the single family route was the way for me because I was, a touch nervous about, if somebody leaves, then I'm stuck holding the bag, right? So ended up purchasing in November of 19, I purchased a 3-family property. That was 2 units were occupied. The third was going to vacate the property upon sale. So I did some rehab, put a new roof on, did some siding, rehab the first floor unit, which took a lot longer than I expected and a lot of hours away from the family. My wife actually joked with me. She's like, I thought this whole real estate thing was going to maybe keep you home a little bit more. And meanwhile, I'm at the house, swinging the hammer and, stuff like that. But anyway, a couple months later, we had the proof of concept that real estate was working. Every month I had cash flow and, we did a little better on our taxes that year. And my wife was like, okay, I see where this is going. Me, on the other hand, I was saying to myself, I don't know if this is scalable. I put quite a bit of capital into this first property. I maybe had capital for one more purchase, and then I would have 2 triplexes, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that would have been tremendous. But I just didn't know that it was going to be scalable the way that I was looking to be scalable. So ended up poking around the multifamily space. And by this time, I had totally cut out TV, Pandora, everything else. I was totally hooked on podcasts and audiobooks and reading when time permitted. And multifamily was one of those things that I just didn't know about. I didn't understand the valuation, the NOI, the spreadsheets. And then I kept on hearing people talk about coaches and mentoring programs. And I always joke with people that, being from New York City, I have a healthy dose of skepticism baked right into my DNA. And, when I heard people, paying thousands of dollars for coaches, I was like, no way. But you know what? I did my investigations and I talked to a ton of people and I ended up signing on with the group. And it was honestly the best investment that I've made, going forward. So with that, I'll toss it back to you if you got any questions on that, or I can just keep on going. I can go all day.
No, I mean, it's interesting because a lot of my buddies are firefighters too. They came from the military. They're invested in real estate. The job does work you, but it also leads to time off. And so they found other avenues. But the rub is the retirement's so great with the fire, you have to finish. So it's like, my business partner's in the military. And so my whole goal is once he leaves in 2 or 3 years is to have a full-fledged, I step right from the military into that. And what I'm seeing more lately as I interview these guys and meet them is there is a way to do, your regular job, the military or firefighter, and also have a business you're growing on the side. And so how do you, before we get into the multifamily space, how do you juggle all that with your regular job, being a husband, being a father? Like, how does all that work out for you?
Yeah, so I'm not going to say it was easy in the first couple of months, because my wife works a little bit. She works 3-4 days a week sometimes, and she has a private practice as a social worker. So it was really kind of just getting on board with my wife and getting our calendars out and really kind of time blocking. And I was never an early riser. And for the last year or so, I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I tried to get 2.5 hours of work done, before my kids get up and then we start the breakfast and getting ready for school routine. So it kind of came down to being intentional about how we're spending our time. And it's a work in progress, like anything else, because, when the kids are home, you don't want to be, or I don't want to be the guy who's constantly staring at his phone or on his computer or, I want to be present. And sometimes it's a challenge because, sometimes an investor lives in California or, there's a Zoom call and it's Pacific time, or Central time. And, and on the East Coast, it's dinner time or bedtime, so it's really kind of been a little bit of a challenge. My wife's on board. My wife is huge in this whole thing. She doesn't want to be involved necessarily in the day-to-day real estate or, acquisitions or anything like that. But, her being supportive and being with the kids and everything has been huge. So, but also that being said, like you mentioned, military and firefighters, like, my wife's used to the schedule. We've been together almost 20 years, right? So, I knew her before I was a firefighter, and so she's been with me since day one, so she knows what the schedule's like. I'm gone for a whole day, and then I'm home for a couple days. And I would say 9 out of 10 guys work on the side. So that whole process of like, there's a lot of guys that I work with. Guys are super, super, hardworking. Guys have small businesses. Guys have big businesses. There's guys, you name the side job or the career, and I know somebody who's kind of doing it. So nobody really stays put for too long. So really, just being intentional about your time.
Well, I think the most important part there, and we as men learn my lesson the hard way. We don't communicate properly with what entails. Like, this is where I'm headed. It's going to take a bit to scale up, but when we get here, then that's the joys of all this hard work. And I think you went into that with actually proper communicating, like, this is what it looks like, and then framing your life around that. And that's what I don't think we do enough. Like, whether that's your employee or somebody working for you, you have to paint the vision of, you might have to take it on the chin for a couple of years, but I see us here then, and then they can be pulled towards that vision.
100%. And I actually want to save that little sound bite that you said. I was a good communicator. I want to share that with my wife when this is published.
So I'll text her.
Thank you. I appreciate that, dude. I can take all the wins I can get. No, you're right. Listen, I mean, I never used to write down my goals. I never used to write down my priorities. I never used to keep a journal. To me, that was like foo-foo type stuff. And I just didn't, I didn't see any value in it until I realized that there's value in it. Like you hear all these different podcasts or books about success or business or entrepreneurship. And, after you hear the 50th one, the guy says, I'm successful and I write down my goals every day. I sit there and I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I should start writing down my goals every day. You hear guys talking about time blocking and, well, maybe I should do that. Early rising, like the whole thing, So, I can honestly say that once I started changing my mindset and being open to some different things that maybe I didn't believe in beforehand, there is total value in it, and it's totally skyrocketed our business in the last 12 months.
And before we get into the multifamily stuff, on the group part, the coaching thing, because I hear it all the time. I just had a phone call with a guy today who's never had coaching, and there's a lot of bad coaching. There's a lot of bad groups out there, so that space is kind of mucky sometimes. But talk about the value of being around people where maybe their goals or their vision was a little higher than yours. And it almost like, same thing. It almost like pulls you in that direction and opens up. And that's really what we're seeking, is options. You only know what you know because you don't know. And so I would imagine getting with that group allowed you to just kind of like almost, supercharge your vision.
There's no doubt about it. And like I said before, it's the best investment I made. And here's why. So, once I did my due diligence on some different groups and I ruled some out in the beginning, and then I really kind of drilled it down to two groups. There's value in the group because it's a community and it's the people around you who are doing the things that you want to do. Right. So, there's newbies, there's middle people, and there's super experienced people. But at the end of the day, what I found was there's an abundant mindset within the group. So, everybody's looking to help everybody else out. And whether it's the experienced guy with the newbie or two newbies, hey, I just found this out, whatever. But at the end of the day, these are where the partnerships are found. This is where the intelligence is found. This is where information sharing takes place. This is where you can, what I call R&D, rip off and duplicate from somebody else's success, by hearing these stories and being surrounded by them. And we have, in the group that I'm in right now, it's the Jake and Gino program. And it's just tremendous. Like, so, there's accountability pods where we meet, at first used to be weekly. And it's just, keeping each other accountable. What are you guys doing this week? What were your wins? What were your losses? What are you focused on for the next week? And then if you show up the next week and you didn't do anything, well, you just got crushed by the rest of the group,
Yeah.
Or maybe you're stuck, on something, and, to have a mastermind to kind of lean on and say, hey, what do you think about this? I mean, it was huge in the beginning. But outside of that, we have an accountability coach. We have an expert deal coach, and you have direct, contact with these people, and the learning curve is just compressed. Maybe you have a 10-year learning curve. You want to do it by yourself, and that's great. I give you all the credit in the world. But if you want to collapse those timeframes, the rip off and duplicate model, and surrounding yourself with people that are successful in doing what you are doing. Our deal coaches, they're doing deals. They're in this space. They're into real estate. 110%. So. And that's really the value. And, obviously I joined the first week in March of 2020. And my goal was to work every minute the girls were in school. Well, guess what? COVID hit and they were home before I knew it. And I was doing, homeschool until the end of the year. So things got a little different. But, these guys, most groups will have live events. I can speak for Jake and Gino. They like to have 4 to 8 live events per year. And it's all about networking. It's all about meeting people, seeing what's top of mind for everybody. And, I can honestly say within my community, it's the rising tide will lift all ships. And it's been a great experience so far.
Well, what's interesting, and I don't think people understand, because I've been a part of a couple of masterminds myself. You think, and don't get me wrong, the information available, the access to coaches is amazing. That's amazing. But in my theory, it's not what you're paying for. What you're paying for is the people that you're in the group with. And I've done business with these people. I've done deals with these people. And for me, I think that's something that gets lost in the mix. Is yes, it is this money, but to be around that level of people all the time, sometimes you have to pay to play to get into that group, and then they become your friends, and then you can spawn off and do other things from there. So when you bought that first triplex, what have y'all done since then, and what are y'all focused on currently?
Yeah. So when I first joined Jake and Gino, my goal was to do like 6, 12, 18 unit properties with my brothers and, my dad and maybe some other people, because that was really Jake and Gino's that was their sweet spot. That was what they knew. They have they talk about buying a underperforming property and, making your improvements, refining out of it, using those proceeds into the next property. It's called refi and roll. And I love that, it's all about, taking that equity, in multifamily. You can basically force appreciation, take the equity in a refi and put it into another property. And it's amazing. So that's what I thought I was going to be doing. But what I found was the group that I kind of got mixed into upon joining, they had some syndication experience. And I very quickly got into a syndication with actually my deal coach. He gave me an opportunity of a lifetime to kind of hop into that deal and learn syndication from the ground up. So I'm forever grateful to him for that. So what does it mean to do due diligence on a property? Get the financing, what does it mean to do a webinar for investors? How do you talk to investors? I had to go from Tim the fireman and Tim the ER nurse to Tim the syndicator, trying to raise capital from friends and family. And they were like, what are you doing? How does it work? And I understood it, and I saw the value in it. But, obviously that was a big teaching lesson, learning lesson for me, is that I need to learn how to, communicate what I'm doing. How does it work? How do you get paid? What's the value, and I've been doing pretty good at that. So fast forward to now, where I'm just in the process of, we'll be closing our 3rd syndication. Right now it's January 28th. We're closing February 17th. So within a year's time from joining Jake and Gino, I will be, a general partner in $45 million worth of assets. And like 335 doors. It's incredible,
Amazing.
Just simply incredible. So, so when people talk about, I don't know if that's for me, and I'm not saying syndication is the way, because I still want to do that original refi and roll. But for right now, working a W-2 and doing the syndication model and having third-party property management in place, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So even with COVID, the multifamily properties have been resilient, and it's been a tremendous learning opportunity. That's all I can say.
No, that's amazing. And so let's stay there for a while because, I asked a group that we were talking to last night, like, true or false, you have to have money to invest in real estate. And everybody said true. And I said, no, you have to have somebody else's money. And so that is funny that you say it that way because I laugh because here's Tim, the firefighter. And then wait, here's Tim that's asking me for money. When did you become a real estate guy all of a sudden? And so as a syndicator for the young kids out there, anybody that's older that has a W-2 job, what are the aspects of that job that you don't think people understand completely? Like what are the details that gets thrown around that people don't understand what it actually is?
Yeah. So syndication is a great model. But what I found very quickly is that it's a team sport. There's no chance of you doing this. I wouldn't say no chance, very little chance of success doing it by yourself. So, what does that mean? Well, you know what? You need to have an acquisition, right, of a property. You need to get that LOI. It takes an incredible amount of underwriting, get that LOI accepted, get the property under contract. You have a due diligence period of maybe 30 to 45 days, where you got to figure out, is that property, workable? And if it is, then you got to get financing, right? So, if you're doing a small multi, yeah, you might be able to do it by yourself. But if you're doing a bigger property with a big price tag, well, guess what? You need to have a net worth requirement. You need to have a liquidity requirement. So that's where maybe a key principal gets involved with a bigger balance sheet than you. Where can you add value to the syndication process? Are you boots on the ground? Can you go walk the property? Do you have a construction background where you can start estimating rehab costs? Are you an engineer type that maybe knows Excel inside and out? You can do a sick underwriting process. So there's a lot that goes into the syndication model. It sounds great. Oh yeah, I'm going to raise money and I'm going to take down this huge property and we're just going to pay everybody and it's going to be, hunky dory. Well, there's a lot that goes into it. And that's where, networking and building out your team is just, incredibly important. And that's where I see the value in being in a community like Jake and Gino.
And I think ultimately what people don't understand when you come from the single family world, which is price wins, that's not the case in multifamily. And meaning team wins, because what I've noticed, and correct me if I'm mistaken, once you start closing properties, people see you as somebody that can close, and that's how you get more deals. It really is a reputation game in multifamily.
100%, right? Because people aren't writing you a check for 5 or 10 grand. It's, 25, 50, 75, 100, 200, $1,000. So, if somebody's going to, place capital with you, a lot of people talk about, you need 3 things to raise capital. You need to have people that know you, like you, and trust you. If you don't have no like and trust, you're not getting anybody's money. I don't care what kind of screaming deal you may have. Those are the main components of getting capital into a deal. So, all right. So you're asking these people for money, but you have to produce results, right? So everybody says they're going to have conservative underwriting. Okay, but what does that mean? Every operator out there is going to say, I have conservative underwriting.
It's the buzzword. Yeah, it's the buzzword.
So even talking to somebody, like myself, I'll hop on an investor call and they'll say, well, can you walk me through the underwriting? Yeah, no problem. Here's where we had these assumptions. Here's where we had those assumptions. Here's the, on the exit plan, here's what we're assuming, and, walking them through the process, I think really helps them to understand, well, okay, yes, this is a workable model. I'm now comfortable, handing over $50,000 into a investment. So it's really a journey, right? It's a journey for the investors. It's a journey for the team, the syndication team, and you're on that journey together. So it's been, honestly, for me, it's been really fun talking to the investors. I love having the conversations. It keeps me sharp, right? Because I got to know this stuff inside and out. But it's also, I understand it and I believe in it. And I'm a limited partner in a couple of deals. I'm a general partner in a couple of deals. And I want other people to kind of know what's out there, what kind of opportunities are out there besides your E-Trade account, ETFs, and stocks that who know, or Bitcoin. I don't understand Bitcoin. But, there's other opportunities out there that you can, have some tax advantages and some really nice returns.
So here's two things I see, just from a mindset point of view, as I look at multifamily and raising money. I think two things have to change in your life. In your association, the fact that you think money is scarce. And the second thing is understanding that there's money out there, right? When you say off the top of your hand, somebody has $200K to invest in your deal, a lot of people would say that doesn't exist. But I would imagine that you've seen that to be the opposite, correct?
Yeah. I mean, people have, there's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of money on the sidelines. I mean, with all the, volatility in the market and volatility in politics, I mean, I think people are, saying, what the heck am I going to do with this? Right. So, it's funny you say that too, because the people in my circle, in my lifetime that I thought had a ton of money and would be like, they're definitely going to invest with me. They weren't the ones who invested with me. It was the people who I had no idea how much money they had or didn't have or whatever, that were like, Tim, what are you doing? How does it work? And I'm talking about, these are firefighters and cops and small business owners and, I would say, for lack of a better term, either essential workers or everyday people. And that is what I love about this, is that, maybe they didn't know about this. Maybe they aren't a part of the country club and they don't talk about syndication around the dinner table. But now they do, because I love to be the vehicle, to be the person to show them that there's other ways to make money besides the savings account or, God forbid, you put your money into a CD. You're just going to lose money through inflation, right? There's other ways to do this. And, if you want to be involved in real estate and that someday model, well, someday I'm going to buy a single family house, or someday I'll buy a condo in Florida and I'm going to Airbnb it, and like, it's probably never going to happen. But if you can learn about the syndication model, whether it's multifamily or industrial space or, retail, I mean, whatever is your interest, self-storage is huge right now. Jump into it, learn about it, ask a ton of questions, get comfortable with it, and guess what? You can own real estate without having to be the landlord. It's quite an amazing model.
And something that I rail against, and something that I push real hard on, is that, and you only know this by getting into the game. Real estate, let's say flipping or single family investing, on the surface sounds a little sexy, and giving my money to a large syndicator and not knowing what's going on doesn't sound as sexy. But you really have to dissect what type of life you want to lead. And if you're invested, let's say, in 600 units, right? Or like you have a good job, like that allows you to have your money working for you, and you can go do your life, go live your life, go travel, go all do those things. Now, on the same token, I think one of the issues that gets me fired up in the multifamily space, and I beat against this, is I think we need to remove the conversation of how many units we have, like it's a thing, like we're excited about it. I think we need to talk. It's the same thing in the Airbnb space. I could have the same conversation in the Airbnb space. I think we need to talk about gross to net profit, right? And I think I was joking with somebody earlier. If we had to stand up on a conference stage and say, the only thing we could say about ourselves is, I'm Austin Linney and I net profit this much, and you weren't allowed to say your unitness, I think that would be the true conversation to have. And so you really have to get in and figure out how money works to understand that yes, investing in 1,000 units might be good, or investing in 200 units with your spread being greater. And that's where somebody like you, having a real conversation about what does this look like? Am I giving, maybe you could only give 25,000, but on the next one, because of that deal, you could get 50,000, and just letting your money work for you.
100%. I think you nailed it right on the head. If you have 1,000 units, but they throw off $1 a unit per month, all right, well, you got $1,000 a month. If you have 200 units that put out, $50 a month, like, did I just do that wrong?
It doesn't matter, but I know where you were going.
No, you know what I'm saying, right? The unit count should be inconsequential. It's how are they performing, and that's what when people kind of come into this and they're just getting comfortable with the process, it's really vetting the sponsor. What kind of track record does the sponsor have?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of returns am I going to get? And like you said, there's nobody ever taught me, or I guess I never took the initiative to find out about money the way that I have in my late 30s. Mm-hmm. And what you were alluding to is the velocity of money, right? Having your money working while you're living your life. And maybe after the 5-year life cycle of a multifamily syndication, well, guess what? Now you just doubled that capital, or you did even a little better. Maybe you had a 2.5x equity multiple. If you don't use any of that and you roll it into the next deal, I mean, you can see very quickly how you can keep on doubling your money every, say 5 to 6 years, and you're getting some tax benefits, you're getting some exposure to the real estate. So you're diversifying your portfolio, and you're not doing anything. You're not fixing a toilet. You're not screwing in light bulbs. You're not dealing with any of that stuff. So, but yeah, learning about money, I think, is first and foremost, before even investing in kind of anything. It's really been a journey that I've been on, and I'm so happy to kind of be here and be able to speak to other people about it.
Well, I mean, in November, we have another event coming up next week. We had a Construct Your Life Mastermind, and Bruce Peterson spoke. And I knew a lot about syndication enough because a lot of my friends do it. But he taught me a lot of stuff that I was unaware of. And so it's like I look at, you're not only getting money for putting the deal together, you're getting tax depreciation, you're getting monthly income. I mean, it was a really eye-opening experience to me. But he said something to me. We had lunch back in October, and I was like, why don't you have like 4,000 units? And he's like, I could if I wanted to. He said, I like my life. And so it got me thinking, like, we as people, and I think this is what you have to do with how much you have going on. We haven't mapped out the game plan. Like we're walking through the hallway with the lights off, the doors are closed. But if you have like, okay, I need $6,000 a month coming in. When I hit that, then we'll stop and go, okay, what do I need next? And so how many more years do you have as a firefighter?
So I got about 4.5 left.
And so after that, is it full-time real estate?
100%. I mean, look, at the end of 4.5 years, I'd like to sit here and say, yeah, I'm going to leave. No problem. Like, I'll be a full-time, real estate syndicator. Truth be told is I love that job.
Yeah.
I love the guys that I work
with. Can I ask
with.
You a question? I got to ask you a question because I've met enough of y'all. I need a real answer. Why? Because it's long hours. And to be honest with you, just because I know from some of my friends, some of the people y'all help maybe not be as grateful as they should be. Why do firefighters love their job so much?
Yeah, I mean, it's why. I mean, I don't even know that I can put the answers squarely on anything. It's a culture. It's a way of life. I mean, you're here in the firehouse with somebody for 24 hours. We have exceptional good time in the firehouse. We're always laughing. We're always working hard. We're always pushing each other to do the right thing, to be the best at what we do. There's a tremendous amount of pride in doing your job well. And then let's face it, at the end of the day, I mean, we don't go to fires every minute of every day, but when you're in a butt kicking job, and it is crazy and it is scary and it is, it's hot and there's a mission. There's some kind of there's a great feeling knowing that, we all came together in a matter of, 7 to 10 minutes. We put out 2 rooms of fire. We searched the entire building. We got people out, or and the job got done. And we were able to rely on our training and on each other, and we got the job done, and it was crazy. And there's no other exhilaration than putting a fire out and walking out of there with the job well done.
So I'm going to connect some dots here because something just came to me.
Do it.
Y'all, with the job, I look at, because I've met many of them, high performers, other businesses. It's almost like you have created your own mastermind within the fire station that has forced you to be better outside of your firefighter job.
100%. 100%. Actually, it's funny you bring this up because the FDNY has had, some opportunities to team up with the military. And I was talking to a chief one time that was doing some of these trainings with the military, and he got asked a question, how can the military duplicate what the FDNY, the bonds that are with the brotherhood, they call it, how can that, you guys will do anything for each other. You guys are on the same page, and don't get me wrong. I mean, there's always a little bit of flexibility there, I'll say. But at the end of the day, I mean, the military's asking the FDNY, like, how do firefighters, how do you guys create that culture and that feeling, of being one? And it was hard for even that chief with like 35 years on the job to kind of nail it down. But it's something special. It's something really, really special.
I think I've got my closest thing I can think. It's simplicity of mission of purpose. There's something burning. There's something burning, and we put it out together. Because my favorite thing in the entire world, people think I'm crazy. You got these great goals and everything. I want 30 acres that I can mow. I love to mow. Oh. It's my favorite thing. Yeah. Here's the grass. It's grown. You cut it. It's done.
Looks great. It looks tremendous.
Yeah, I don't know. And so I see it as this world we live in is full of all these decisions all day. But when it comes to fighting fires, there's a fire. We put it out. Done.
Boom. Game over.
Boom. I love it. Well, man, if they want to find out more about you, how would they do that, my brother?
Yeah, so they can come to citysidecap.com. That's CITYSIDECAP.com. My email is tim@citysidecap.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. Bear with us. We're rolling out a new website any day now. I mean, got any questions? I'd be more than happy to hop on a call, email. Just reach out.
Guys, I love it. And if you like this episode, make sure you send it out to your friends, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Construct Your Life with Austin Linney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to start constructing your life by taking immediate action on what you learned. For show notes, resources, and more information on one-on-one coaching with Austin, visit constructyourlifepodcast.com.